Constance Hall is an actuary and a principal of ECLA Consultants and Actuaries. She is a fellow of the Society of Actuaries and an enrolled actuary, a member of the American Academy of Actuaries and of the Caribbean Actuarial Association. Constance Hall has over 25 years of professional experience throughout the U.S., Caribbean, and Latin America. Her work encompasses Social Security, employee health and welfare benefits, retirement plans, and general insurance. She consults in both the public and private sectors to a clientele that spans all business sectors.
Because you're going to get old.
Oh.
Well, at least we hope you're going to get old, right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is there's going to come a day when you're going to want to stop working. And when you stop working, unless you have a pension or you have some wonderful children, you're likely to find that you're in trouble. Now, because we never know if we can count on the children, but we're pretty sure we're going to get old, we encourage everybody to have a pension plan. Start as early as possible and take it very, very seriously. The government, I think, recognizes the importance of having pension plans, and so nearly universally, and definitely here in Jamaica, the government has wonderful tax incentives. Your pension contribution is tax-free. And the way I think about that is an automatic 33% return on your money. So you have $1,000. If you take that 1,000, you put it in the bank or in some other investment vehicle. Before you put it, you pay 25% to the government. That's $250. If you put it in the pension plan, the whole 1,000 goes in, and as long as it stays there, it's accruing tax-free. You cannot beat that rate. On the stock market, all the listed companies, the pension plans are invested, government paper, corporate bonds, mortgages, leases, property. Some of these wonderful New Kingston properties are owned by pension plans. Investment does have risk. What you want to do always is to be sure that your investment manager is reputable and that you as an individual and your trustees are paying attention. So the same way you're going to treat your private investments, the same way you're going to put your money in the bank, you're going to make sure it's a good bank, you're going to do the same thing here. So it's not risk-free, but it's good risk-reward balance. Pension plans are regulated both by the Financial Services Commission and Tax Administration. They are monitored, lots of reporting. In addition to that, and the professional investment manager and the administrator, the plans are audited every year. So you have another external party that's independent. And then on top of all of that, every 3 years, someone like me comes in and I take a good look at everything again. So in terms of just monitoring this, the system's excellent. And if you think about it, you don't hear very often about pension funds failing. It doesn't happen because the system's set up very, very well, and the layers of supervision, your money is pretty safe. In most institutions, very well managed. You have trustees who have to meet fit and proper standards.
And this is important. Why would you say?
Because you want to make sure when you get to retirement, you don't want to be putting your $1,000 away every month. When you get to retirement, somebody says, "Oh, sorry, we lost it." Yeah, we've seen some of that, right?
Definitely.
Not in the pension fund.
Yes.
So you want to be. We want to be sure it's there. And this really is why, in addition to the auditors every year that go in and take a look, when the auditors are done taking their look, I'm also taking a look. So if I see something that looks funny, I'm going to an administrator, I'm going to investment manager, I'm going to the FSC, I'm going to tax. The layers are there. You can put your money in and feel pretty sure that when you hit retirement, you're going to be able to get a nice little nest egg. In most pension plans, retirement is somewhere between 60 and 65. Usually, you're allowed to go early, and that's usually after 55. We don't encourage that very much because at 55, you've really not earned a big enough pension. So we say, plan to stay there until you're 60, better yet until you're 65. That's where you're going to get your biggest potential payout. If you're in an employer-sponsored plan, then that plan is going to have a retirement age, and that's going to be set by your employer. Now, by law, you can ask to be allowed to remain an extra 5 years. So let's say retirement age is 60, you can ask to be allowed to stay till 65. There's no guarantee your employer will say yes, but you can ask. But it really is the employer's discretion on what that age is. To your beneficiaries.
My beneficiary.
To your beneficiaries. In the old days, your beneficiaries would be nearly automatically your wife if you're married, or husband, and if you have no spouse, then your children. These days, it's a lot more flexible, and you are asked when you're joining the plan to name beneficiaries, and you have the chance to change those beneficiaries every year as you go along. You can name several persons and say, I want Constance to get 10% and Michael to get 40%. And so on. You can be really flex with your choices. Yeah, that's a horrible practice. This is one of my pet things.
Wow.
Because what happens? You could work in half a dozen jobs before you retire. If you take your contributions out every time you leave this job, then what happens? You really have your pension just from your last job. In that last job, you might only have 5 or 10 years. And so you end up with what? A very small pension. So the idea really should be, as you move from job to job, either one, you leave the pension behind you in the job you're leaving, or you take it with you. And the law allows you to move with your pension from company to company. Yes, so when you get to retirement, your pension is going to be based on all the years of service that you have in these different companies. It's the only way to be sure that you're going to retire with a pension that's actually meaningful. Your employer will have a formula, yes? The employer will either say, I'm going to put in some money into the plan for you. You're going to put some money. This money is going to be invested. When you get to retirement age, we're going to use this money to get you a pension. Or the employer is going to say, we're going to calculate a pension for you based on some formula that they set. You can always add to your pension by putting extra contributions in. So in most pension plans, you are required to pay 5%. After that, you can put in up to another 5%.
Which is voluntary.
Which is voluntary. And your voluntary contributions can add up to a lot of money and make a huge difference in your pension check. A retirement scheme I think of as for people who are not in jobs that have pension plans, right? So your employer doesn't have a plan, you're an independent consultant, for example, and you're going to be saving for your own retirement. And yes, you're right, there are about a dozen of these now. I say choose the same way you choose your bank. Start with reputation. Can I trust this institution?
Definitely.
Then you're going to go in and you're going to ask the hard questions. When you pick up the phone, did somebody respond readily? Did the person have good answers? What kind of fees are they charging you? A key question for me, how often am I going to be able to check what my balance is? If they tell you you can see your balance every year, then you follow up with, when was your last statement? Because if I can see my balance every year, and my last statement was 3 years ago, that probably means you're doing a very poor job.
Yes.
What are the returns? What kind of interest am I going to get on my money? Can I take my money from here to somewhere else? Are you going to charge me a penalty if I do that? So you're really going to go in and do basic financial risk assessment. You want to be sure that your money is going to be in a place where you're getting good returns on it. It is being invested by people that you trust and have good respect for, The customer service is excellent. You need somebody to be able to answer your questions. That person is there, and also that you're not spending half your money in fees. Ask them. Always important. Are you up to date with your reporting to the Financial Services Commission? If they're not doing that, then you should run from them.
All right. On that note, Constance, I'd like to thank you.
You
Thank you very much for your time.
You are so welcome.
All right.
Sonia Goff was called to the Jamaican bar in 2003, with her main areas of practice including commercial pensions and intellectual property law. A former commissioner of the Fair Trading Commission, her practice also encompasses consumer and competition law as well as general corporate law. An active member of the Jamaican Bar Association, she is the convener of the Intellectual Property Committee and a member and former chairperson of the Social Affairs Committee of the Bar. She is also a director of the Pension Fund Association of Jamaica, as well as a co-founder of the Adult Learning Centers of Jamaica, a non-profit organization committed to improving the literacy and numeracy of adults in Jamaica. Mrs. Goff has written and lectured on subjects including the protection and enforcement of intellectual property rights, anti-counterfeiting, brand protection, as well as consumer and pension law issues.
Your retirement income is typically sourced from 3 areas. You'd have your private savings, the pension benefit that you're entitled to from a national sponsored pension program like the National Insurance Scheme, and the pension benefit you would get from your employer if he has a pension plan or an approved retirement scheme. Yes, there's a difference. Pension funds in Jamaica are usually referred to under the legislation as approved superannuation funds.
Okay.
And these are funds established by an employer for the benefit of his employees that who are entitled to participate in the pension plan.
Okay.
An approved retirement scheme is established and it operates, Prime Asset Management operates an approved retirement scheme, and it's for persons who are self-employed, persons who are employed with a company but that company does not have a pension plan, or where that person may be employed with a company that has a pension plan but they are not in a pensionable post, meaning they're not entitled to participate for one reason or another in the company's pension program. So it's not an obligation for an employer to establish a pension plan, but where an employer does have a pension plan in place, he must contribute to that pension plan and must contribute a minimum of 5% of the employee's earnings up to a maximum of 10%.
Okay.
So in terms of who, the Financial Services Commission is the regulator authority vested with the power to monitor pension plans and pension plans and retirement schemes in Jamaica.
Right.
And in addition, the Financial Services Commission operates within the scope of the Pension, Superannuation Funds and Retirement Schemes Act. And all pension plans and retirement schemes must comply with the Pensions Act.
Right.
As well, each pension plan and retirement scheme is governed individually by their trustee and plan rules. So you're entitled to receive a copy of the trust deed and plan rules, and the trust deed and plan rules are the constitutive documents that govern and regulate the individual pension plan. Now, these deed and rules, of course, must operate within the constraints and context of the Pensions Act. Then you have the Members' Handbook, which is a summary. It's a summary of the deed and rules in simple, easy to understand language. And each member of a pension plan must get a copy of the Members' Handbook as soon as they join the pension plan.
Okay, that's important.
The deed and rules tend to be heavy and very heavy in terms of legal jargon, and so the Members' Handbook is there to give easy access and easy reference to what the deed and rules have to say. And you also are entitled to receive a benefit statement within 4 months of the end of every plan year. And your benefit statement is individual, it's individualized, it's personal and unique to you. It sets out details of your pension benefit and information in relation to your beneficiaries, whether or not you're vested in the plan. And so it's important that when you receive your benefit statement, a member takes the time to read the benefit statement, ensure that the details set out in the benefit statement are accurate. If there are any changes that need to be made, bring that to the attention of your human resource officer or the administrator or the trustees. And also ensure that you understand the information in the benefit statement so that you appreciate where you are, what your position is in the pension plan, what your benefits look like, so that when you reach up stage, when you're at retirement or you're withdrawing from the plan for whatever reason, you understand what to expect. So all pension plans need to be registered with the Financial Services Commission, and there are certain reporting requirements that must be complied with. So the Financial Services Commission is there to ensure that your pension plan operates in a healthy and liquid and solvent manner. In addition to the Financial Services Commission, you have several advisors to the pension plan. So you have the investment manager, you have your administrator, you have your actuary, you have your lawyers. And they also play a role in ensuring that the pension plan is being operated in a sound manner. In addition, you have your trustees, who are all required to be registered and approved with the Financial Services Commission. They must satisfy the fit and proper criteria, and they too play a role in fact a critical role in ensuring that the plan operates in accordance with the deed and rules, consistent with the Pensions Act, and in compliance with the regulatory framework that has been established.
Okay, nice.
So all pension plans have the objective of providing a pension benefit to their members at retirement. But you generally have two broad types of pension plans. You have a defined benefit plan, commonly referred to as a DB plan, and then you have a defined contribution plan, commonly referred to as a DC plan. In a defined benefit plan, your pension benefit is based on a defined formula, usually some factor times the number of years you've been in service times your last annual salary or average last 2 years salary, etc. And essentially, in that DB scenario, the employer makes a covenant with the members and says that when you reach retirement age, we guarantee you a pension benefit based on this formula. It's predictable and it's certain because the member can essentially, when he or she reaches retirement age, have an idea of what to expect as a pension benefit. In a case like that, the employer takes all the risk, so that if the pension fund, when managed, doesn't do well in terms of investments, the employer is saying, regardless of how well the fund performs, I will ensure that you will get a benefit based on this formula. The defined contribution plan, or the DC plan, is a little different. In that case, the risk shifts to the member. The member takes all the risk. And the contributions are invested, and if the fund does well, the member gets the benefit of that increased interest yield. If the fund doesn't do as well, the member loses the benefit because of the underperformance of the fund. In a case like that, it's less certain as to what that pension benefit will look like at retirement. But in some respects, because the investment yield may be more than the guaranteed benefit and a defined benefit plan, a member may actually walk away with a greater benefit than if he were in a DB plan.